Good morning and welcome to Living Healthy with Leah. Good morning, and how is everybody doing today? I hope all of you are having a beautiful morning. So today we are going to be talking about women and health. So mainly of course we're going to talk about women and health. I mean, come on, really? But today we're mainly going to talk about stress, anxiety, and cortisol levels. So raise your hand. I'm just going to go ahead and preemptively raise my hand. How many of you internalize everything? Like, I mean, everything. It's not just a little bit, it's not just a lot. I do mean all of it. You internalize comments, you internalize feelings, you internalize pretty much everything you can think of. Even if your kids say something, if your spouse says something, if any significant other says something, your family, you go to work, and everything gets internalized. Everything comes to the forefront of your mind. And you can see that I'm fidgeting because I am myself that type of person. I mean, come on. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't. And everything that we hear, everything someone says, we just kind of bring in. We file it away. And when we look in the mirror, we think, oh my gosh, that's so true. My hips are big. My jaw is large. My eyes are too close together. My eyes are too far apart. My skin's not very clear today. I must be stressing. How many of you go to work and they're like, well, that outfit doesn't look very good on you. And then you feel self-conscious. Or you need to pull it together. You need to get yourself straight. And you're like, I'm doing everything I can. You go home and you walk in the door, and if you have kids like I do, you see shoes on the ground, you see dirt on the floor. And if you have dogs like I do, I have 4. You see paw prints, you see dirt from outside, you just see everything. And then you walk in the kitchen and there's that 1 or 2 glasses or a big mountain of dishes. You go in the laundry room, there's more. You go to the bedroom, there's more. Then even if you're super organized and you come in and your bed's made, your children's rooms are clean, you have someone that maybe helps you do the cleaning, there's always going to be a stressor. You've got to now get dinner ready, make sure homework's done. I mean, if you have an au pair, you don't really live in the same life I live. But, and then you have to do the chores because those things don't magically get clean. You've got to make sure that laundry's done, those dishes are washed, that dinner's made. You got to go over your budget. You got to make sure you're prepared for the next day. You lay out your clothes. You make sure you do your facial and your cleanliness. You make sure your kids are clean, your kids are fed. You make sure homework is done. You monitor what they're doing. And sometimes it's overwhelming because sometimes you let things slip. But the more things you're focusing on, the more cortisol levels you're releasing if it makes you unhappy and stressed. And what does that mean for our bodies? When we release cortisol, we actually become what's called inflamed. Have you ever heard inflammation or pretty much anything with an itis? But no, anything, inflammation. And it's where your body, you literally watch yourself grow an inch or a half inch on your stomach, your arms, your face during the day. Even if you're eating salads, even if you are going by a strict regimen of protein shakes and exercise, you're going to watch your body swell. And you will go into the bathroom, you'll have that wonderful, like that one moment where you drink a soda or a glass of tea, and you're like, oh my God, I'm swelling. But actually you were swelling beforehand. When you walked into work and someone said something negative and you brought it into yourself. If you were having a stressful moment with your kids and they were fighting or they were arguing or they didn't want to wear the right shoes or they didn't want to wash their face, they didn't want to brush it, whatever it is, they didn't want the breakfast you made. You started to swell because your body started to release cortisol and your body started to reuptake fluids to protect your body. Because you ever heard of fight or flight? It is a stress hormone. And now your body, your intellect actually starts to decrease as your cortisol increases. So as your cortisol goes up, your brain function goes down and you start to react. And your body starts to react instead of being able to control what your body's doing. So as these stresses build and more cortisol is released, the body swells more. I mean, we're not talking like a balloon from like Harry Potter, the Prisoner of Azkaban, the auntie lady, whatever her name was. Sorry, my daughters were watching that the other day. We're not talking like that kind of swelling. But over time, as cortisol is continuously released and you do not de-stress, you do not release that cortisol out of your body, you do not bring yourself back down, you begin to swell over and over and over. And you build in water weight over and over and over. You start craving certain foods, and your body starts to store fat, store fluids. And before you know it, you're looking on the scale and you've gained 20 pounds. I mean, in a matter of weeks, you've gained 20 pounds. Actually, you can do it in a matter of days, depending on your body. Not in a matter of hours, though. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to go get on these diets. Oh my gosh, I've got to lose weight. And all you've really got to do is chill out. Because now you've just added more stress. I've got to lose weight. When did I get so fat? Or when did I start losing control? And you start stressing, and then you start exercising, and then you start fad dieting or starving yourself or decreasing more food. And you really begin to spiral out of control. And then you're tired. Then you're tired of being tired. And then you're just over it. And you get angry. And now you're releasing even more hormones that have a negative impact on your body. Because now you're swelling in your shoulders. You're swelling in your neck. And you're getting knots everywhere, which is, again, releasing more cortisol, more stress hormones. And you're just like, I can't do this. And more serotonin. So now you're feeling sadder and sadder and sadder. And less dopamine. Because dopamine is your happy. Serotonin is your eh. Cortisol is your, oh my God. So you literally go into what someone once told me, the critter brain, which is the fight or flight, the epinephrine, norepinephrine, the guttural part of ourselves, where we are no longer living, we are reacting to life. Let me say that again. You are no longer living, you are reacting to life. Did you hear me? I'm going to say it one last time. You are no longer living, but reacting to life. And when we start to react to life, our bodies, they don't shut down, but they no longer function metabolically correct. We start storing fat because our body is trying to survive. It was like, oh my gosh, you're crazy, so we're going to go survive. But that's not true. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is your body's like, okay, this is not okay. This life is not okay. We are in a stressful, dangerous, potentially dangerous situation. I have to react. I have to store. I have to prepare. I have to protect the housing. So you start gaining weight. Not just weight. You start actually having decreased brain function. You start having anger and stress, resentment. You start feeling invisible. You're tired all the time. So then you get on, you have that glass of wine or that hot tea or that another cup of cappuccino or an energy drink. And you're like, all right, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to get all my work done. And you start turning on the TV. Exercise machines, thousands and thousands of dollars. Fad diets. Oh my gosh, I could lose all of this weight in just a few days if I do this. So you try it. Oddly enough, you lose some of it, but then you gain it right back. Or you plateau and you start taking out more food. And then you try another diet, or you try a magic pill, or you try the lemon and coffee, which, by the way, is bullcrap. That doesn't work. And I had tried all of it just because I was curious. You try all these things. And then you get frustrated. And guess what? Cortisol levels go up. Stress levels go up. Brain function goes down. Energy levels go down. And you spiral. And you're continuously in this cycle. And it's actually called self-destruction. Because you don't take a minute and stop reacting. You're so wrapped up in reacting that you don't take a minute to just breathe. That's all you gotta do is take a minute to breathe. So I'm gonna take a minute and I'm gonna breathe. And I'm gonna enjoy my cup of coffee. Yep, still good. Still toasty. So how do we fix this? Well, first off, you don't have to fix anything. We don't need a drastic overhaul. Have you ever heard the word take a chill pill? Ain't you ever heard it? Oh, and I bet that probably pisses off so many people. You need to take a chill pill, child. Or honey, take a chill. Or the worst one, calm down. Or here's my favorite. You really want to get me on a tirade? Fake it till you make it. My favorite. What you need to do is breathe. Oh, another good one, right? Just another trigger. But the truth is just laugh. My biggest reaction to stress is to laugh. Sometimes I'll cry. I mean, a good crying is healing. But laughter. Laughter is proven to decrease cortisol levels, to increase brain function, to decrease stress. Now, I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to give you this little sound. Did you hear that? Hopefully you did, because this is laughter. In case some of y'all didn't hear it. So we're going to do cheering too. Yay! So laughter and cheering. Because you already feel a little better. Because now you're like, this is ridiculous, but I love it. One more time, laughter. Just makes you want to laugh. And cheering. And just for those of you that are just like, she is nuts, a little bit awkward. So, a little bit of laughter. I'm not saying go out there and you have to start doing your Zen meditation every morning, although that's a great idea. I'm not saying go do your yoga. Because honestly, I'm about as flexible as a kangaroo. Yeah, I guess they're not pretty flexible. I don't know. I'm about as flexible as a lump of lard. That's Southern for you. But I like yoga. I like to stretch, and I'm just teasing. And I go to the gym. I exercise. I go on bike rides. My daughters and I go on bike rides. I go to the gym when they're at school, and this is what we do. It's fun. It's exciting, and I gotta re-stretch here. And we see different places all over where we live here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it's a great time. It's a great place, but laughter is going to be your medicine. Laughter is one of the best medicines. And I know so many people have heard that. Laughter is the best medicine, but how can I laugh when I'm so stressed? You can't. The truth is you can't. You have to make yourself laugh. You have to say, I'm going to choose laughter instead of stress. And at first it's kind of awkward. It's like, all right, you're stressing me out. And you feel like you're a lunatic. But then you're like, okay, this is a pile of laundry. Well, okay, let's do it. Let's get this done. Or you're at work and someone says, that outfit just ain't working. You say, hey, neither are you if you're looking at my outfit. Smile. Put on a smile. It doesn't have to be fake. It can be sarcastic. It doesn't have to be from the heart. It can be from a place of irritation. But what it does is instead of doing this, thanks, you're going, thanks. And actually, it is going to cause you to react differently. Because you're going to let it go quicker. What you're going to find is in the next 7 days, that scale may not change, but the way your clothes fit do. The swelling's going to start going down. You're not going to reuptake all those fluids. They're going to start decreasing. What you're also going to find is that you're going to be able to start enjoying food again. Because you're going to be able to eat what you enjoy. And not be like, I just gained 20 pounds by eating a meatloaf slice. You're like, okay. Well, actually, I'm losing weight because now I'm starting to regulate what I eat. And I'm not stress eating. That's a key factor. I'm not stress eating. I'm not craving sugars because I'm not stressed. Because actually, we crave a lot of sugar when we are stressed. Some of us actually are strange and they crave sodium. But most people crave sugar because it makes you feel better. But it takes care of a symptom, not the problem. You're still stressed. You're still releasing cortisol. Like, if I get super, super stressed, I love a soda, like a Coca-Cola. I'll go get me a 20-ounce little Coca-Cola. I'll be like, I feel so much better. But I bloat because I didn't release the stress. I substituted something for the stress. Do you see the problem here? It's kind of like I get a big old cut on my arm and I put a little bitty Band-Aid. It's not going to help with infection. It's not going to do anything. The big cut's still there. It's still bleeding. A Band-Aid did nothing. That's what stress eating, that's what sugar and sodas do, is it puts a little bit of Band-Aid on a really big problem. And the really big problem is how you handle stress. Now, today we're just talking about stress and anxiety because actually they kind of go hand in hand. When you're stressed, you're anxious. When you're anxious, it causes you to stress. And both of those cause you to have anxiety, to release cortisol, decrease brain function, increase stress. If you're on medication, I'm not going to tell you to stop. That is something you and your nurse practitioner, PA, doctor, therapist, psychiatrist, whatever you're working with, y'all need to work with that. What I'm going to tell you is your reaction, no matter what medication you're on, is what's going to help you. And I know that is so irritating, right? Especially for millennials today. It's like, not my fault. It's not my reaction. Listen up, millennials. I am born in 1985. And our term for everything was suck it up, buttercup. And it's not an easy thing to do because that actually releases more stress. But also saying, well, it's not my fault, also releases more stress. So at some point, you have to own the fact that your reaction causes the stress. Now, for those of you that have clinical, like DSM-5 problems, you need to talk to your therapist. Disclaimer here, I'm not a therapist. I'm a life coach, a life and health coach. But for those of you that just are stressed and you're like on Zoloft or sertraline and you're just, maybe even have acid reflux, you're on omeprazole, if you're on certain medications, you can help your medications by how you react to stress. This is called coping. It's a fun word. Coping mechanisms. Now listen, I ain't trying to be nice to you. I ain't trying to help you get off your medications. That's between you and your therapist. That is 100% y'all's thing. I'm trying to help you understand that a lot of our issues isn't the world just around us. It's what we allow in our world, what we allow in our home, our safe space, how we allow ourselves to react. And for anybody that pisses off, I'm so sorry. But at some point, we have to own ourselves. We own ourselves. Nobody owns us. We own ourselves. We own our actions and reactions. I know, nobody wants to hear that. I have been told so many times, that's great advice, but nobody wants to hear that. And you're right. For those of you that don't want to hear it, it's called delete this podcast. It's called move to the next one. But I'm a mama. My personality is all mom. So I'm going to be a mama to y'all right now. And I'm going to let you know that what makes the two generations before us successful is how they cope. You look at your grandparents and I'm like, man, they came from nothing, the Great Depression, they did this, and they're still happy. Do you know why they're happy? Because they learned to cope, to deal, to understand that life can suck. But that's just life, and you keep going. And you make a joyful choice every day. Whether it's in your faith, whether it's in your reading a book, but you make a choice. Now, my next podcast, we're going to discuss about choices. That's the next podcast we're going to do, and I'm going to probably start recording it after this. It's about the choices we make. Okay? And that is going to be our next thing, is choices that we make. So stay tuned. We're going to have an amazing day. You're going to have an amazing day. Because at the end of the day, you're an amazing person and you are enough. And we're going to make some good choices together. Thank you for joining me at Living Healthy with Leah. You can check out my website, livinghealthywithleah.com. And my name is Leah. I'm still trying to figure out how to get all of that on here. And as soon as I do, you'll see it. Thank you. Join me tomorrow.